Oh yeah, Tim from Scott Country International. Today we're out filming and zeroing with the new HikMicro Alpex 4K LRF. So all we're going to go through in this video is the zero function. I'll go through the bore sight. Unfortunately can't show you through the scope because we don't have a scope camera or anything like that, but the menu system is fairly intuitive, it's similar to the old Alpex. Then I'll set the ballistic calculator, and then we'll hit some stills at various distances, and then we'll also do an IR test on the back of this video, so get you in the right frame of mind for what IR you need to test and go and purchase for this unit. Yeah, so I'll put a little bit of rat footage in there as well, and a few rabbits and various other things at various distances, just so you can get the flavour. Right, so what we've basically done now is just done a complete bore sight as you would a normal day scope, everything like that. The menu system inside is completely the same. If you've done a new update on the Alpex, you'll see that new menu structure that HikMicro's adapted. That's the same as in this. So if you've done the update on the previous Alpex, you'll be used to the menu system and everything like that. So all I've done in this is set 100 yard zero on profile A and done initial bore sight. So we're just going to see where we are on paper, and we'll get going from there. Right, so what I can see now is on the target, I'm shooting one of them shooting splat targets. I'm low and left, so all I'm going to do is make the necessary corrections, going through using the freeze frame function and all of that. So I'll get that done. Obviously now using the menu system on the top. So through down to advanced settings, into zero in, down there, down a bit into freeze frame, then access my X and Y, make the necessary corrections, press and hold, come out of that, select OK, and we're good to go. We'll come back out of that menu function there, and we'll get set for our second shot. So here we go. Right, and that's bang on now. So I'm happy with that. So we made our initial corrections, we've done all our zero. What we're going to do now is set up the ballistic calculator inside this. So what you will need to do is set your you'll need to convert your feet per second into meters per second, because it's not in feet per second in the Alpex 4K, the ballistic calculator. All you do is go down through the menu system till you get the ballistic calculator. And for the people that had there's a few questions, which this camera's going to blow. People were wondering how many profiles you can hold. So you can hold 5 profiles with inside on the ballistic calculator, as you would do any other device, and that will correspond to profile A. Profile B will be profile 2, profile C, profile 3, so on and so forth, and you can change all that within there. So all you're going to do now, I'm just going to do this off camera, so you don't have to sit there while I enter all this data into here and go through that process. So we're going to get that nipped now, and then I'll get you in 2 minutes. Right, so we're back now. I'll set all that data up inside there. What you will need to do is, once you've activated the ballistic calculator, put your information in. You need to be on base magnification to see the laser box. If you zoom too far in, you won't see the laser box to activate. So I've got a still down there at 400 yards and one about 300. So we'll give them a crack now and see where we go. Right, so now the laser's activated and put the little cross on my reticle.
there. And we'll go. Ideal. Right, that's all singing. There we go. Easy as that.
Initial findings then on the Alpex 4K. So pros and cons versus the old one to the new one. We'll start at the front. Obviously the focus collar, now that you've got the LRF on the top there, it's a lot smoother, so that's nice. They've improved that there. Lens cap feels a bit more durable than the old one, but moving back down the main body of the scope, again 18650 as opposed to CR123, which is no good. 18650s are good, they'll power that scope for a good length of time. And what has moved is the focus on the top there, so now that is your zoom ring and your menu function there. So a lot of people said they sling it on their back and it comes back out and he ends up in Chinese and God knows what else. I never had that drama slinging the rifle on my back. Always went in standby mode, alleviated that problem. But that is that. So moving around to the other side of the scope, obviously micro USB-C charging on the side here now, so that's a nice little touch as opposed to having it under the other cap. Onto the top, these buttons are really stiff, so old versus new. The old Alpex, or the A50T model, had everything sort of flush. Now these have been raised up and they're protruding, so you've got your power button with a power indicator light on there, your record button and your laser rangefinder button with a sort of a nodule in between there, so there's no risk of flicking anything on or off whilst you're fumbling around in the dark trying to find the record button. Like I said, they are stiff, they are really stiff. To get that recording, might just be because it's -4 and I can't feel my fingers anyway, but it's quite stiff to press, so they might work in a little bit and we'll see how we go. Initially, thoughts on the scope, it is clear, like it is leaps and bounds ahead of the old Alpex. Now don't get me wrong, the old Alpex is really good, but these are a lot clearer, gives you a lot more functionality through zoom as well. Obviously moving around to the side here as well, you've got a changeable aperture, so you can allow more light in or less light in should you need to, and that's all good. So again, out of the box they don't come with an IR, but again a lot of people didn't want that. So initial zeroing, had to have a little moment sort of to get used to the scope and see where we was going. So again, worked out all the ballistic calculator. Something that needs to change in there straight away, it needs to be feet per second, because meters per second, I don't like meters per second. Some people do, some people don't, but I like feet per second. It's nice to have the option of both. Maybe I can have a search through the units later and see if I can change all that. Within the laser rangefinder you can change meters or yards, but I don't know if it's changed it on the ballistic calculator. But I did it still down there at 400 when I was trying to fiddle around with it. I had to adjust the meters per second, so as you do with all ballistic calculators, you have to tweak them a little bit, either ballistic coefficient or your feet or meters per second. Did that, it is still at 438. Then I got another little one down there at 300 odd, and I just took that on top of the tripod, so it's sort of there, but needs a bit of work, maybe from myself. One more thing as well with the when you're using the laser rangefinder, you've got to be zoomed out, you've got to be out on that, you've got to be magged out. What I did have to do is obviously tweak the feet meters per second in that to get onto that steel. Now I know what the speed the bullets are doing because they're home loads, but again, just a little bit of tweaking around. But I'll say a bit more practice with it and I think we'll be golden. Hit another steel down there about 318 yards, hit that off the tripod, so that's all good. Initial findings, it's a very nice unit. It's a lot clearer than the old Alpex. I want to do a bit more testing with it and see where we go.
So if you enjoyed this week's episode, please like, share and subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified when we release all our latest videos. And all the products you've seen in this video are available on our website at scottcountry.co.uk. Head over there now. All yours today. Cheers.